Hey, how's it going, guys? So as you can see, I'm getting my first Stenocereus Guerretaroensis flower blooming today. And it looks like maybe this second one is going to open too, the one to the right of it. That one either today or tomorrow, but this one definitely tonight. You can see it opening already. I was hoping it opened the same day as this one, but it's not gonna happen. It sucks. I don't think so. It's still pretty early. It's gonna be 7 p.m. I'll come back out here like at 9 and see for sure. But for sure this one is opening. And it sucks because overnight or tomorrow and the day after it's gonna rain. So I'm gonna put a bag to cover this these buds. Try to keep them dry. If only this flower opens and this one does not, which I don't, this one doesn't look like it is. I might just save some of the pollen and then I will pollinate this one with some frozen pollen, and I'll do that shortly. For me it'll be a few hours, and for you it'll be a few seconds. Please hold. Hey, how's it going, everyone? So it's pretty chilly, so these flowers are really lagging on opening. These are Querétaroensis flowers. And so what I'm going to do before I try to collect pollen is I have my brush here. I want to see if there's pollen yet. You see these? Let me explain to you. You could see these little sacs right here, little white circles. Those are the anthers, and those sacs, they pop once the flower fully opens. Sometimes before, they'll pop and the pollen is released. So let me check. Oh, I don't see anything. Let me check the brush. Yeah, that sucks. So there's no, I can't collect pollen yet. The anthers, the pollen sacs haven't popped. So it's about 10 p.m. So what I'm going to do, because it really sucks, and the reason I say this sucks is because it's supposed to rain overnight, all day tomorrow and Sunday. So what I'm going to do is put some bags on these. I'm going to go grab a couple bags, make sure that it doesn't get wet, because that'll ruin the pollen. And I'll try again tomorrow to get pollen tomorrow morning. So I'm going to go ahead and bag these up, and I'll continue the video tomorrow morning. Okay, guys. Okay, I wasn't going to record this, but might as well. So this is not going to, the pollen sacs have not popped, and I'm actually really exhausted. I had a long day, so I'm not going to come out here at midnight to collect pollen. So I'm putting a Ziploc bag on here, putting it as low as possible, and I'm going to zip tie. I'm going to zip, I guess, close this up as much as possible. I really don't want water coming in. So this will prevent water from coming in, but I don't want like splash black over here too. If rain comes here, it could splash up. So I'm also going to put a bigger bag on top. And I will be out here tomorrow. And I'll record when I uncover this. So you see, completely covered the tip. And what I'm going to do is pollinate these flowers with some frozen pollen that I had from other Stenocereus from last year. I gotta see what I have in the freezer. I'll check tomorrow. Yeah, I'll check. But I know I do have a few frozen containers with pollen. And unfortunately, this one up here did not open tonight, because I was hoping to cross-pollinate that with anything that opened here. So it looks like 2 flowers will be fully open tonight. I bagged them because it was estimated that it was going to rain. Look, you can see the clouds. That it's supposed to rain overnight, and it's going to rain tomorrow, supposedly all day. We'll see. And then morning showers on Sunday. So tomorrow I'm going to remove this bag. The flowers should be fully open, and the pollen sacs should have popped. So I'll be able to collect the pollen, and I'll freeze that pollen to pollinate other cacti. So this particular one is not the same as these. So with this pollen, I should be able to pollinate these flowers and any flowers that come out of here, or any other Stenocereus I have. And yeah, so to be continued in a couple of hours. It's about 10 p.m. and I'll continue this video in the morning. I'm not sure what time, but in the morning. Okay, guys. Good night. Hey, everyone. So I'm back here with an umbrella, ready to collect some pollen. So first thing I'm going to do is remove. Oh man, kind of hard to do this with one hand. Oh, I'm going to have to use both hands, kind of. Let me remove this outside bag. Let's see, it's completely dry here. With this other bag, you can see how I tie this. I really wish I had a stand for this umbrella. Yeah, I have no ideas. Okay, I'm just gonna have to hold this umbrella. Let's see if I can hold it with my arm. Okay, so let me pry open this bag here. Remove it carefully. Close on this side too. Okay, so let me check. It looks like did I bring my brush? Okay, let me get my brush here to check. Yeah, so there is pollen. There is pollen here. There is pollen. So I'm going to collect some of this pollen, and I'm going to use a mini vacuum to get it. I only have one arm, so this would be the easiest way to do it. And I've collected dragon fruit pollen this way. I've just never used it for Stenocereus. So let me try to collect pollen with this little vacuum here. I saw this other collector, Los Tres Epitayos, use this also. And I've used it. I've had this for over a year, and I've used it for dragon fruit, but I've never used it on Stenocereus. But I saw that when he used it on Stenocereus, he did collect a lot of pollen. So I cleaned it out, and I'm hoping I get a good amount of pollen here. I know it's going to have some of the pollen sacs also. And it's important to keep your pollen dry, which is why I have the umbrella. I was hoping it wasn't raining. I was waiting for it to stop raining, but It's drizzling. Okay, I'll check how much pollen I collected when I take this back to the. But it looks like it did save some pollen. I'm just gonna. I'll check it when I get back to the little porch area. So I'm going to. Right now, I'm going to put the bag back because I don't want it to get. I still don't want the flowers getting wet. It's hard to do this while holding the umbrella. Oh man. Okay, that should do it for now. So I'll just leave this like this. Yeah, so that's fine. Let me go back. I'm gonna go back to my porch area and see what kind of pollen, how much pollen I collected from that little mini vacuum. I think it's a keyboard vacuum. Yeah, I'm part of some dragon fruit community. This a few groups on Facebook. Probably like 2 years ago, people were posting about it, and I tried it, and I thought it was. I mean, it was really effective, but for dragon fruit, it's. I mean, I collected enough pollen without using the vacuum, so I just kind of didn't use it anymore. Anyways, so I'm hoping I have a good amount of pollen here so I could freeze, and I'm gonna freeze it and put in this specimen container here, which I wrote yesterday's date. That's fine. And what I like to do is put a silica pack inside the container where I have the pollen, and then put another one in the bag, and I'm gonna ziplock the bag so they're both airtight. All right, so let's see how much pollen I got. And again, under a roof here, it's like a back porch area. So I'm hoping I have a good amount of pollen, and I do. Yeah, this is really nice. What I should use is a little brush to clean the screen. Okay, so here's the pollen I collected. Quite substantial. Yeah, that little vacuum is really good at collecting a whole lot of pollen, in opposed to just using a brush to collect all the pollen. There's a bunch of anthers in there too, but that's fine. There's a whole lot of pollen in here too. So I'm going to put all this, chuck all this, get as much of this pollen into the specimen little container here. And it is completely dry. Usually what I do with pollen, I do the same with all pollen. I usually collect it at night, and then I'll let it sit out just to make sure it air dries. I'll let it sit out in my living room counter for about overnight or a few hours. and then I'll seal it and put it in the freezer after that. But I'm not gonna do that this time. I know it's dry, so it looks pretty dry. So I'm gonna put a silica pack in there, and silica pack desiccant, they absorb moisture. So if it's a little wet or moist, the silica pack will take care of that, and it'll help keep it dry in the freezer. And then I have a silica pack in this Ziploc bag. I'm gonna put it in here. Try to remove all the air in here. And oh, there's still some air in there. So this is the first Stenocereus pollen for this year. I put the date here, and I'm going to take this to my trusty outside freezer. And as you can see, I have a lot of frozen pollen. So now to see something that's compatible. This is some Thurberry pollen. I could use that. This is dragon fruit pollen. This is Frankie's Red dragon fruit pollen. This is dragon fruit pollen. This is Huastecorum pollen from December. That's probably going to be the best candidate. This is Stellatus. Stellatus, I don't know. That's in a whole different region. I don't know if that's going to be compatible. I'm not going to use it. Here's Huastecorum. I have some Cereus monstros pollen. Some hairy Pachycladus pollen. And some thin Cereus pollen. Okay, so it looks like I have 3 options here. I have a few Huastecorum pollens. So this pollen looks like there's a good amount. This is from November. You know what? I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to anyways. I usually just have a one-time use, but in today's case... Oh! Sorry, kitty. Okay, so in today's case, I'm going to have this little container here. I'm going to put some pollen of maybe both of these. Here, this is Huastecorum from November. Okay, here's some pollen from Huastecorum from November. And I'm going to put this back in the freezer because I have so many Querétaroensis pollen right now, flowers that are going to open. So I'm going to put this back in the freezer. Usually it's a one-time use, but it was just open for 1 second. I'm hoping that'll be fine for next time. And then I have this Huastecorum from this December. Let's see how much pollen is in here. It's a little bit. So put some of that in here too. There's still pollen in here, so I should be able to reuse that in the next few days to come when I have more buds. It looks like a lot of buds I have that are going to open up in the next few days. So from the Satan cacti I could use that. Maybe. So I'm left with, so I got this. I have 2 different types of Huastecorum pollen. I'm going to move it around. And this is what I'm going to use to pollinate that those 2 flowers in the back. I'm just going to move it around. Mingle all these 2 pollen, all this pollen together. And okay. I no longer need the vacuum. Time to head back out there. And is it still drizzling? I can't tell. Oh, I think it stopped. Yeah, it looks like it stopped drizzling. But it might start. I'm just gonna keep the umbrella with me anyways, just in case. I really want no raindrops or nothing falling on the flowers. Anyways, I'm gonna have to go around here. At least I don't have to water. Oh, look at that. There's a Pachycladus flower over there. Yeah, so I'm really hoping... Oh, it's supposed to rain more all day and tomorrow morning. So even after I pollinate these flowers, you see I covered them because look, I don't know if you could see the raindrops. So I want to keep these flowers as dry as possible. Okay, so I'm going to remove this bag. And I'm going to try to pollinate these with one second. Having a hard time getting my brush. Okay, so I got my brush and pollen ready. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Here is the pollen I'm gonna use. I got my brush here. That sucks. It is drizzling a little bit, so I can't let go of the umbrella. I wish I had a stand for the umbrella. So this pollen should be really good now. Look at this. See this? See the tip of this? I want to make sure the the stigma is nice and open. Let me move more this way. And I'm going to try to brush as best I could this pollen on that stigma. I'll get more. There's a good amount of pollen here. So I'm hoping this gets pollinated. I'm hoping the pollen is viable. If it's not, then it is what it is. On a good note, I collected some nice pollen from these flowers. So if I fail to pollinate these, at least I collected pollen to pollinate other flowers afterwards. Okay, so the stigma's right here on this one. Okay, let me get the last of this pollen here. I'm hoping this works. Not guaranteed. The best thing you can do is use fresh pollen, which I had none available. If I had any other Stenocereus with flowers open, I would have totally have used that to pollinate these cacti. So yeah, that's it, guys. If this pollen, this frozen pollen is viable, it will have this beauty set fruit for me to eat, and it will be it would have been pollinated by Huasticorum, Stenocereus huasticorum, which is absolutely compatible with Querétaroensis. Okay, so that's it. I don't want these getting totally soaked. It's supposed to rain more. Sometimes these flowers will stay open till like noon, sometimes if it's cold enough. And so it is pretty cold, so these will probably stay open till like 1 or 2 p.m. I want them to close without getting all the moisture in them. So I'm going to cover them again quite well. Put the Ziploc, the little zippers on. Yeah, so they're going to remain dry. You know what? I'll put this bag on there too, just cause. Okay guys, so that's me pollinating, collecting pollen and pollinating my Stenocereus queretanoensis during the rain, which it's, I don't know if you could see, it is drizzling. Yeah, it is drizzling. So I don't really care about getting a little bit wet, so I'll put away my umbrella. And let me just show you some other flowers. We have these pitcher plant flowers here. It's kind of hard to see because they kind of hang down. That's how these grow. But look, let me lift it so you can see these beauties. Where is it? Right here. There's some beautiful flowers. And to pollinate these, it's a little more finicky. There's areas of the flower. There's a few areas of the flower that have the pollen. And then you got to pollinate the stigma. So let me show you. Here's a beautiful Stenocereus pachycladus flower in the rain. It's drizzling. Looks pretty nice, right? Slippery when wet. Anyways, that's it for now, guys. Thank you. Cheers.